The US will not join an international effort to develop and distribute a COVID-19 vaccine to all countries, regardless of their wealth. President Donald Trump's administration says that's in part due to the World Health Organization's involvement. Washington used to be the UN agency's biggest donor, but in July, the White House began the process of withdrawing from the WHO, accusing it of favouring China and issuing bad advice during the pandemic. Analysts say by doubling down on its bet to win the global vaccine race, the US could now stand to lose potential doses from a pool of vaccine candidates. Covax, a global initiative led in part by the WHO, aims to provide 2 billion shots of effective and safe vaccines to participating countries by the end of next year. So far, more than 170 countries are participating. The European Commission this week said it would contribute nearly $480 million to Covax's efforts. And there are currently no approved vaccines for COVID-19, but nearly 30 candidates are being used in human trials. Those developed by American firm Moderna, the UK's AstraZeneca and Germany's Pfizer are seen as the front runners. Well, let's get more on the Trump administration's battle with the World Health Organization now with Dr. Isaac Bogoch from Toronto. He's a scientist and infectious diseases consultant at Toronto General Hospital. Welcome to the program, Doctor. Now, let's take a look at the WHO's Covax initiative. We've seen wealthier countries recently spend billions of dollars in striking deals with pharmaceutical companies, hoping to get their hands on millions of doses of any successful COVID-19 vaccine. Now, this COVAX initiative aims to ensure that poorer countries don't miss out on a potential shot. How important is it then that this happens?
This is absolutely vital, and it's incredible to see that the WHO and other global partners like Gavi have really teamed up to really ensure that low-income countries will have equitable access to vaccination. This is a very contagious infection, and this is the type of infection where if there's a problem in one part of the world, it means there's a problem all over the world. Remember, it only took about 3 months for us to go from having this infection in China to a global pandemic. So we really have to look after everybody in order for everyone to be okay.
So how big of a blow is it then, the Trump administration's decision to pull out of this COVAX initiative? Will it set back the development of a vaccine?
I think it might slow down the how vaccines may be integrated into community programs worldwide. Now, certainly the rest of the world recognizes that this is important and is rolling up their collective sleeves to ensure that COVAX is funded and that there really is equitable access to vaccinations, especially in countries that just don't have the buying power or the leverage to get access to these important vaccines. But it would, of course, be a lot easier if the United States, one of the world's largest economies, was on board helping this effort. The fact that they're not is unfortunate. I recognize there's a lot of political reasons behind this, but fortunately, everyone else says, you know what, this is worthwhile doing. We're going to get the job done, and it's wonderful to see everyone else pull together to do it.
Now, the Trump administration says it won't be participating in COVAX because of the World Health Organization's involvement. We know that Donald Trump has decided to pull the US out of that organization. But do you think the real reason here is that the Trump administration really just wants to get its hands on any successful vaccine first, and that it doesn't want to be obliged to distribute it to other countries?
Yeah, it's certainly hard to know, but certainly we have seen a lot of, I guess the term is vaccine nationalism going on, where many countries, mostly higher income countries, are really jockeying for position and buying access to vaccines that some may ultimately come to fruition and may be used, others might not. We just don't have the results of the advanced human clinical studies. But we see many of these high-income countries trying to get as much access to as many vaccines as possible so that they can look after their local, their country. But of course, this leaves out the vast majority of the world that just is not in a position to do it. And unfortunately, for a huge chunk of the world, for truly billions of people, they need access to these vaccines as well. And that's important, obviously, for their health and safety, but also for global health and safety. And I would even say global security as well. So it's extremely important that they get access to these vaccines. Whether the United States is going to help or not, frankly, is sadly irrelevant because the rest of the world sees this as a priority and is funding these initiatives.
Okay, Dr. Isaac Bogoch in Toronto, thank you so much again for joining us on the program.